Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back and happy Wednesday. Let's get into our Today in History. Today in History, May 13th, 1981, Pope John Paul II is shot and wounded at St. Peter's Square in Rome, Italy. A Turkish terrorist, an escaped fugitive already convicted of a previous murder, fired several shots at the religious leader, two of which wounded nearby tourists. The terrorist was captured immediately. So I chose this one because I thought it was extremely interesting. Generally, I like to stay away from religious things because, we all don't have the same religion and I don't want to, make anyone feel excluded, but I think this was a really important world event, um, because, right, most everyone knows who the Pope is, right? Whether or not you practice Catholicism, whether, whatever it is, people know that the Pope is recognized as the leader of the Catholic Church. So when Pope John Paul II there's an attempted assassination on his life, it's a huge world event. And it actually really changed the way a lot of popes from there forward interacted with the people. It actually caused the creation of something known as the Popemobile. If you want, you can look it up. Basically, it's just like, it kind of, it's like a car with the back half of it removed with no real roof to it or top, and he essentially sits in like a glass encasement all the way around. So the people can see the Pope can see the people, but it's bulletproof glass, so it protects him. So pretty interesting and pretty big deal. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Well, I guess that's the wrong wording there. Interesting. All right, let's get into our work for today. Right. So yesterday you guys had this lesson all about the nuclear arms race, right, and the building up of nuclear weapons within the United States and the Soviet Union, and how that really was a a realistic representation of the tension that is rising between the United States and the Soviet Union. Right, this is how one of the ways that these two nations are competing with one another, right? We've spoken about how they're looking politically, they're looking in terms of land, they're looking to see who's going to be the stronger, more powerful nation, right? And science and weaponry is going to be one of those ways. So there was that. Moving forward, we are going to continue on with major events within our Cold War. And many people don't realize this because it's called a war as well. But we're going to look at the Korean War. Right? So the Korean War is going to be an actual fighting war, right? Or what we would call a hot war because actual combat takes place, right? But it occurs during the Cold War era, so that's why we're looping it in. And the United States' involvement in the Korean War is a direct result of our foreign policy of containment, right? Korean War, and we'll talk about the Vietnam War, are both wars that were really a hot button issue or a topic of debate within the United States because neither one of them were wars that a lot of people really thought the United States should have been involved in. They were essentially civil wars within those countries, right? A civil war is a war that is fought within one country, right? But with different sides of one nation. Just like the Civil War in the United States was, we were all Americans fighting against one another. That's the same deal as it would be within Korea or Vietnam, is that it's a civil war within that country. So you have Koreans fighting Koreans or Vietnamese fighting Vietnamese, right? So a lot of U.S. citizens were angered that the United States was involved in a war that had nothing to do with us and was costing American lives. So today you guys are going to look at some important parts of the Korean War. So for you to do now, you have some background information setting the stage as to what's going on within Korea that is leading us to conflict, right? And then you're going to answer those two questions that go along with it. And then it says analyze the sources and complete the graphic organizer below. So you have 4 sources, pretty straightforward stuff that we've done throughout the entire year. And you're going to read through each one of the sources, and then you're going to summarize what is the information that's being presented to you. Alright, so here you have a statement by President Truman about what's going on in Korea and why the United States is making the decision to become involved. Right? Source 2 talks about something that's known as the domino theory. That's going to be something that shouldn't be that foreign to you. It's very similar to the ripple effect, right? One event causes another, which causes another, which causes another. When we learned about the ripple effect, you guys mentioned the domino theory to me as a term that you've heard before, so I think it should be something that's pretty easy for you guys to put into context, okay? Next is source 3. Source 3 is going to talk about the 4 phases of the Korean War, right? And then it will tell you when it takes place and what happens in each phase. And then down here you have this map where it's a visualization of each phase. And I've gone ahead and I've numbered each one for you so that you know which phase is associated with which explanation, right? So you have both, right, a reading and a visual on that one. And then finally, source 4 is going to talk about the end of the Korean War. And here you have a map of what happens towards the end there. And then I've labeled some important stuff for you to just make sure you pay attention to. All right, so that is everything. 4 sources, nothing too crazy. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please be sure to reach out to me. I don't know whether you guys are aware, but progress reports do go out this week. They will be, I think I have to post them by Friday, so they'll probably be open to either Friday afternoon or Monday morning. So if you are missing any assignments, I would say try and get them done before Friday, because within Gradebook, I am entering in all your assignments and marking whether you have completed them or not completed them, so your parents are going to have access to that information. Most of your parents are aware, right? I generally try to check in every Friday and let them know if you're missing 2 or more assignments. So most of you have been pretty on top of what you're doing, and then if any of you have any issues as to why maybe you're not getting work done, please make sure to reach out to me so I'm aware of that, of course. Also, there will be a new Woodland Positivity video posted today, so make sure you go check it out. Maybe you'll see some familiar faces. You know, maybe you need a little bit of happiness and sunshine thrown your way. I know they definitely make me feel a little bit better. And that should be everything, right? Of course, reach out to me if you have any questions, and as always, stay safe and make good choices. Bye, guys.